welcome to the West Asia Post. I am Rhythm Sharma, bringing you all the developments from a region engulfed in a raging war. In this episode, we explore who really holds the upper hand as the West Asia war enters 1 month. Is Iran losing steam or rewriting the rule book? We decode why Iran might be choosing sanctions on the country over making a nuclear deal with the US and Israel, and what could be Tehran's endgame. We also talk about how Israeli strikes are pounding Lebanon. As Israeli bombardment displaces over 1 million people in the country, Hezbollah is fighting back. All this is lined up, but first, the headlines. Weeks of sustained fire have rained death and destruction over West Asia. The world's most advanced militaries are locked in a deadly battle with an adversary who's fighting back hard. The continuous bombardment has destroyed and degraded much of Iranian military. But despite its top leadership wiped out and facing a superior military force, Iran is retaliating with full force. At a time when the Israeli and American interceptors are slowly depleting, Iran is able to pierce through the multi-layered missile defense shields. Our special report brings you all the details.
The nights of warfare is turning cold and brutal. For a month, the most expensive air defense network in history has been firing at maximum capacity. American fighter jets and missiles have relentlessly targeted Iran. US military says over 10,000 targets have been struck. Along with it, Israeli fighter jets claim to have dropped over 15,000 bombs on Iran. Both claim success, claiming Iran's offensive capability has been reduced significantly, even by as much as 90%.
They don't know what's happening. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is all gone, it's all gone. Their radar is all gone. Their leaders are all gone. The next set of leaders are all gone. And the next set of leaders are mostly gone.
Well, we've defined two clear goals. One is to break completely their nuclear program, break completely their missile program, break completely their capacity to produce the components for both of these programs. We're well on our way on achieving it.
The primary assumption was simple: break the enemy's back in the opening salvo. The reality on ground is defying the strategic calculus in Washington and Tel Aviv. According to reports, Iran still has about 1,000 missiles hidden in its underground silos. Iran has periodically revealed footage of these hidden missile sites through state media and IRGC channels to demonstrate its deterrence capabilities. The Iranian missile and drone attacks are not stopping. They are getting heavier. Iran is now firing more powerful missiles like Sejil and Khurramshahr. They carry heavy payloads and have multi-warheads. Before impact, they break into smaller bomblets, which are extremely difficult to stop. This is no longer a tactical exchange. It is a war of industrial endurance. For Israel, cluster munitions present an extra challenge. Ballistic missiles carrying them must be shot down before they split apart, so that even if the attacks are less frequent, they are potentially more deadly. Even the Iron Dome and Patriot batteries are finding the salvos difficult to stop. Every successful breach raises the same terrifying question: how many interceptors are left in stock? The strain is showing. The US has quietly placed emergency orders with major defense contractors to ramp up production. A move that signals a looming shortage. While Israel's Arrow and David Sling systems have performed admirably, the stockpile is finite. According to think tank RUSI, the real danger is not just how much has been spent, but how hard it will be to replace by United States and Israel. The authors say the current $26 billion wartime expenditure could cost more than $50 billion to replenish because wartime production surges are slower and much more expensive. Now the question is not just who can strike, but who can sustain. Iran is absorbing damage but continuing launches. The United States and Israel maintain superior technology but face the challenge of constant defense. 1 month on, the battlefield is no longer just about impact. It is about endurance, and that equation is still open.
The Iran war is not just about strikes and retaliation. At the heart of this crisis is a hard trade-off: sanctions versus security. Iran is facing some of the toughest US sanctions in the world, targeting its oil, banking, and economy. In return, the West wants limits on its nuclear program and missile capabilities. But Tehran calls its nuclear work peaceful and its missiles non-negotiable. So the question is, why is Iran willing to endure economic pain rather than trade away its strategic edge? We tell you more.
The regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically.
One is to break completely their nuclear program, break completely their missile program.
Continue to be as aggressive and assertive as we can against their ballistic missile capability.
The war is entering a dangerous territory. Fears of a nuclear catastrophe are rising. Israel has targeted Iran's nuclear facilities. A missile struck the premises of Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant. In an earlier attack on the 17th of March, a reactor was reportedly destroyed. Russia's state nuclear corporation Rosatom evacuated its staff from the facility. Both Moscow and IAEA have raised concerns. In retaliation, Iran fired ballistic missiles targeting the Israeli city of Dimona, home to the Shimon Peres Negev Nuclear Research Center. The threat of a nuclear disaster is rising. Kuwait has issued a rare radiation advisory amid growing fears of nuclear contamination. Kuwait's National Guard issued and cautioned residents about radiation exposure a day after Iran's Bushehr power plant was attacked, while stressing that people need not panic. Iran today is one of the most heavily sanctioned countries in the world. The US, after walking out of the 2015 nuclear deal, the JCPOA reimposed sweeping sanctions. It targeted Iran's oil exports, its banking system, its shipping and insurance networks, and even individuals linked to the Revolutionary Guard. Iran's economy has been strangled. Oil exports, once the backbone of its economy, have been curtailed. The national currency has collapsed multiple times. Inflation has soared, hitting ordinary Iranians the hardest. And yet Tehran has not backed down. In fact, it has expanded its nuclear program. Enrichment levels have risen to near weapons grade, far beyond what was allowed under the 2015 deal. But Tehran insists that it is not building a bomb. It calls its program peaceful. For Iran, missiles are not just weapons, they are deterrents, a lesson drawn from decades of conflict. from the Iran-Iraq war to more recent confrontations with Israel and US. For the West, particularly Washington, sanctions relief comes with conditions. Roll back nuclear enrichment, allow strict international inspections, curb regional and missile activities.
We will not continue down a path whose predictable conclusion is more violence, more terror, and the very real threat of Iran's nuclear breakout. We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction.
For Iran, that sounds like trading away its security for economic relief. Analysts say, from Iran's perspective, sanctions can be survived, but strategic vulnerability could be fatal.
We want the war to end, but on our terms, in a way that ensures it will not be repeated and that our enemies learn a lesson so they will not even contemplate attacking Iran again. Second, the damage suffered by the people of Iran must be compensated.
So the standoff continues, a high-stakes game of give and take where every concession is seen as a risk and every escalation a bargaining chip.
Hezbollah is striking at the heart of Israel. It is firing missiles towards Tel Aviv in a major escalation. But while Israel's air defenses have so far prevented mass casualties, the real devastation is unfolding across the border in Lebanon. Israel is pounding Lebanon with massive airstrikes and a deepening ground offensive. IDF is targeting thousands of sites and pushing into southern Lebanon to create a buffer zone. Entire towns have been emptied, critical infrastructure destroyed, and more than 1 million people forced from their homes. Watch our report to find out more.
Hezbollah has demonstrated that it can strike beyond Israel's border regions and target its most sensitive urban centers. The group fired a salvo of missiles towards Tel Aviv, claiming that its target was Kiryat, Israel's defense headquarters. The Israeli military says all incoming projectiles were successfully intercepted, preventing direct casualties. Although civilians were injured while rushing to shelter and from falling debris. Hezbollah has called for national unity in Lebanon and has vowed to continue fighting without limits, framing the conflict as a choice between surrender and resistance.
Now, we are facing Israeli aggression. We are in a defensive situation. The resistance fighters are battling in that area to prevent Israel from achieving this objective. This poses an existential threat to Lebanon as a state and to its geographically defined borders recognized internationally.
The IDF has significantly expanded its military operations in Lebanon, launching thousands of airstrikes against what it claims as Hezbollah military infrastructure. Israel says it has killed around 700 Hezbollah operatives, including members of the elite Radwan force, which it accuses of planning cross-border attacks. On the ground, Israeli forces are now pushing deeper into southern Lebanon, marking a shift from containment to territorial control. Israel says the objective is to create a security buffer zone extending up to the Litani River, roughly 30 kilometers from the Israeli border, to keep Hezbollah forces and their weapons out of range. As part of this strategy, IDF destroyed key bridges and cut off access routes to Lebanon. The human cost of this strategy is severe. According to Lebanese health officials, more than 1,000 people have been killed, since the escalation intensified, including children and medical workers, and over 1 million people have been displaced from their homes.
A treacherous, unjust enemy. We saw what he did in Gaza, what he did before in Lebanon, and what he's doing in Lebanon now. A paramedic who doesn't even have a knife, going to save someone else, they strike him and kill him.
Towns like Nabatea, once commercial centers, now stand largely deserted, with extensive damage to buildings, roads and basic infrastructure. Despite this, some residents continue to stay back, saying they would rather endure the war than abandon their land.
We were born into war, we will continue in war, and the war is still ongoing. We send a message to all Israelis. In 1982, they tried to invade Lebanon, and in 2006, they tried to invade Lebanon. But they'll never manage to take even an inch of the southern Lebanon's land.
Now let's dip into a short break. On the other side, we tell you how West Asia is battered by rainstorms and floods. Israel's border communities are rebuilding from the ashes of October 7th. But just across the fence, a different reality is taking shape. Hamas is quietly rearming, reorganizing, and preparing for what could be the next round of conflict. And at the center of this growing disconnect are serious questions over leadership and whether Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is failing to act. Or is he deliberately looking away to prioritize political survival over security reform? We tell you what's happening.
On the Israeli side of the Gaza border, life is slowly returning. Kibbutz Be'eri, where more than 100 residents were killed on October 7th, is undergoing reconstruction. New homes are coming up. Communities are preparing to return by 2027. But just meters away, the view is far from alarming. Beyond what is known as the Yellow Line, Hamas is not weakening, it's rebuilding. Its military wing is recruiting, training daily, and restoring its infrastructure, including attack tunnels. This comes even as a ceasefire framework envisioned a very different future, a future where Hamas would be demilitarized, where an international force would step in and where Gaza would begin reconstruction under a new administration. But that plan has stalled. The technical governing body for Gaza has not even entered the territory. The international force remains absent, and Israel continues to occupy large parts of the Strip without a clear political endgame. The result is a power vacuum that Hamas is filling. And back home, residents who have returned after years of displacement say the threat is not diminishing, it is evolving. Critics now argue that Israel's leadership is failing to capitalize on a diplomatic opportunity, and worse, may be undermining it. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is accused of prioritizing political survival over security reform, of avoiding hard decisions that could weaken Hamas, and of neglecting the very communities that paid the highest price. Nearly 1,000 days on, many of the security failures of October 7th remain uninvestigated. And as Israel focuses on new fronts, including escalation with Iran, over 1,200 people were killed in the attack of October 7th. The fear is that the next attack may already be in the making. For the people living along the Gaza border, rebuilding is not just about homes, it is about whether history is about to repeat itself.
The world's most dangerous waterway is no longer just a passage. It's a pressure point. From the Strait of Hormuz to Suez Canal, a new question is shaking global trade. Can Iran turn control into cash and choke points into checkpoints? Because the Iran war has exposed something bigger. The future of the conflict may not be about who owns the oil, but who controls the routes that deliver it. We tell you what is unfolding.
This is not just a strait. This is a global switch. The Strait of Hormuz handles around 20 million barrels of oil every day, roughly 1/5 of global supply. And right now, that flow is under threat. Traffic through the strait has collapsed from over 100 ships a day to just a handful. Tankers are waiting, markets are reacting, and the world is watching a supply chain choke in real time. Oil prices have surged past $100 a barrel, and analysts warn a prolonged disruption could wipe out up to 14 million barrels per day from global supply. This is not just a regional crisis, this is the biggest energy shock since the 1970s. But here's where the story takes a turn. Iran is no longer just threatening to block the strait, it is reportedly charging some ships for safe passage and even considering a law to formalize transit fees. A de facto toll booth in the world's most critical waterway. The model is clear. The Suez Canal, Egypt earns billions by charging ships for a shortcut, but Hormuz is not a shortcut, it is a necessity. Iran has told the world only non-hostile ships can pass, and even they must coordinate with Iranian authorities. This is not free navigation anymore. This is conditional access. Not just fuel prices, plastics, fertilizers, food supply chains, all are being hit as petrochemical flows get disrupted. Insurance costs for ships have skyrocketed, some tankers paying hundreds of thousands more per voyage. President Donald Trump seems frustrated with Iran and says only a deal could open up Strait of Hormuz.
They've been obliterated. Who wouldn't negotiate? They are begging to make a deal. We'll see if we can make the right deal. And if they make the right deal, then the strait will open up. Hormuz Strait will open up.
The battle is no longer just about oil fields, it is about sea lanes. From Hormuz to Bab el-Mandeb to the Red Sea corridors, these narrow passages are now strategic weapons. The next war may not be fought for resources, it may be fought for access. One who controls the critical shipping lanes would have greater sway.
Extreme weather is unleashing chaos over West Asia. Unexpected torrential rains have turned streets into rivers, homes into danger zones, and daily life into a struggle. This is not just about bad weather. This could be a warning sign for a region already battered by war. Take a look. Thank you for watching the West Asia Post. I am Rhythm Sharma. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup of stories. Till then, keep watching WION World is One for major global updates.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Crime is your front row seat to darkness.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation